Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. We are going to be taking a close look at business planning today.
Yeah.
And not just the sort of step-by-step of how to write a plan,
Right.
but like the real effects it can have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether you are getting ready for a big meeting or just want to see how businesses succeed or fail.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to uncover some pretty surprising factors and some real cautionary tales, too.
Yeah, I think people are going to find this one really interesting.
Yeah, I think so, too. And we've got a lot of great material to work with here.
Yeah.
Notes and articles, all that good stuff.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, let's dive right in. I think a good place to start would be
Sure.
why planning even matters,
Yes.
right?
Well, it's funny because a lot of people think of planning as this like kind of chore or like a boring.
Our box to check.
Right, exactly. It's a box to check and they want to just jump right into the exciting stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more than that. It's about anticipating what could go wrong, what could go right. Like imagine having the best business idea in the world,
Okay.
but no plan. It'd be like trying to build a house without a blueprint, right?
Yeah.
You just end up with something unstable, something that's not,
Class.
yeah, complete mess. And even big companies, we saw that in the articles. A company like Kiki K,
Right. Yeah.
they had challenges because of all these outside things happening.
Right. So maybe we should talk about, I saw something in the notes about SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
What is that all about? Is that part of the foundation?
It is, yeah. A SWOT analysis is all about understanding where your business is at this moment,
Okay.
or even yourself.
Right.
It's about taking a really honest look at your strengths,
Yeah.
your weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
and then also opportunities and threats.
Okay.
So if you're gonna launch a new product,
Okay.
your strength might be a cool new design,
Right.
but a weakness, maybe you can't make that many of them yet.
Okay. So how does a company take this information and actually use it to make decisions?
So there was this one business in one of the articles, and their SWOT analysis showed them
Okay.
that there was a huge opportunity to sell their product overseas.
Interesting.
Yeah, big demand for what they were making. But the analysis also showed they had to upgrade their factory to actually handle all the new orders.
Yeah, you got to be able to make them.
Exactly. If they hadn't done that honest assessment up front,
Right.
they either would have missed out completely or
Yeah.
been totally overwhelmed trying to,
Keep up.
yeah.
Wow. That is a perfect example
Yeah.
of like how SWOT can show you the good and the bad, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it forces you to be honest about the weaknesses.
That's tough for people to do.
Yeah, it is. But it's important to remember with SWOT, it's not about finding the solutions.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
about gaining clarity.
Okay.
It gives you the information you need to come up with those solutions, which is where the business plan comes in.
Right. Okay. So the notes did mention a business plan. But like, is that really necessary? What about being flexible and adapting as you go?
Yeah, adaptability is
Yeah.
hugely important.
Yeah.
But a good business plan, it acts like a roadmap.
Okay.
Think of it this way. If you're going on a road trip,
Right.
you don't just get in the car and start driving randomly, right?
Yeah.
You have to figure out where you're going, maybe where you're going to stop,
Yeah.
pack your bags, that kind of thing.
Right.
A business plan is kind of the same thing. It helps you know your goals, your strategies, any challenges you might run into.
So it's not just about ticking boxes. It's about
No.
having a direction and being prepared.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So what actually makes a good business plan? Like, what are the parts that really matter?
Most business plans have four main parts, four key elements.
Okay.
You've got your executive summary, which is like the snapshot of the whole thing.
Okay.
You got the operations plan, day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
The financial plan, that's all your money, revenues, costs, all that. And then the marketing plan, how you're going to reach your customers.
Gotcha. Sounds pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
But even with the best plan, things don't always go as expected, right?
Oh, of course not.
Like, life throws you curveballs.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I think this Kiki K story comes in.
Right.
I mean, they had a detailed plan,
They did.
but they still ran into a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
Well, Kiki K is interesting. Yeah, their founder, Christina Carlson, she was really all about planning.
Oh, wow.
I mean, she even sold her house.
What?
Yeah, because the banks wouldn't give her a loan at first.
Oh, wow.
She really believed in her idea.
So if you're going to bet on yourself,
Yeah.
that's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So with all that planning, how'd they end up in trouble?
So their plan was to go international, which makes sense for growth, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
But then you had things like Brexit happening
Right.
and the protests in Hong Kong. Those really hurt their business in those markets.
Wow. So sometimes it's stuff you just can't predict.
Exactly, and that's why you need to be flexible, you know?
Yeah, it's like you said before, you plan the road trip,
Right.
but then the road is closed.
Exactly. There's always detours.
Are there any other kinds of surprises like that that businesses should think about?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Another thing Kiki K ran into was competition.
Okay.
Cheaper stuff coming in.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big problem for a lot of companies, especially these days.
So even if your product is great and you have a good plan,
Yeah.
you can't control what other companies are going to do.
Yep.
Sounds like you got to keep an eye on the market and be ready to change things up.
All the time, yeah. And that's why we say a business plan is a living document.
Okay, I like that.
It's not something you write once and forget about.
You got to keep updating it.
Exactly. It has to grow with the business.
It's like that road trip again. You got to adjust the route as you go.
Exactly. Maybe you find a better restaurant along the way or a cooler attraction.
Yeah. So how did Kiki K adapt to these problems? Did they just ditch the plan?
No, they didn't give up. They went through something called voluntary administration.
How's that?
It's a way for businesses that are struggling to kind of reorganize,
Okay.
maybe avoid going bankrupt.
So it's like hitting pause.
Yeah, exactly. A chance to figure things out.
And did they recover?
Yeah, thankfully they did. Another company, the Brand Bank Group, they bought Kiki.
Okay.
So they're still operating.
That's good to hear.
It shows that even when things go wrong, having that plan and being willing to change can really save you.
So it seems like the big lesson here is planning is crucial,
Yes.
but being flexible is just as important.
I think you nailed it, yeah. A good plan gives you structure, it gives you a direction,
Okay.
but you need that adaptability to handle the surprises.
Okay. So how would you explain that to someone? Like, what's the analogy there?
Think about building a house, right?
Okay.
You don't want the foundation to be totally rigid.
Right.
It needs to be able to move a little, to handle storms or, the ground shifting. A business plan is the same. It needs that built-in ability to bend without breaking.
I like that, the living document. It makes a lot more sense now.
Good, good.
It's like that strong framework, but you're ready to make changes along the way.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a...
Yeah, that makes sense. It really clicks now. So I guess the big question is, like, how does this apply to, someone who's not running like a huge company?
Right.
Does a freelancer or someone with a side hustle need a big formal business plan?
It's a good question, and I think it really depends.
Okay.
Even if it's not like a traditional business, a plan can still be super helpful.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be some giant document. It
Right.
could be like a simple outline.
Right.
Your goals, who you want to reach,
Yeah.
how you're going to do it.
Makes sense.
Having even a basic plan, it gives you that clarity and focus,
Right.
which is really helpful when you're juggling lots of things.
Especially if you're doing it all yourself.
Exactly.
It's like having a map. Even if you're just walking around a new city,
Yeah.
you don't need turn-by-turn directions.
Right.
But it's good to know where you are, where you want to go.
I like that analogy, yeah. And don't forget, the process of planning itself is valuable.
Oh, how so?
It makes you think hard about what you want to achieve,
Yeah.
what resources you have, the problems you might face.
Yeah, you got to actually confront those things.
Yeah, there's that saying, a goal without a plan is just a wish, right?
That's true. And even if you end up changing the plan later,
Mm-hmm.
just the act of creating it
Yeah,
gives you new ideas
absolutely. It sparks something.
you might not have thought of otherwise.
Right, exactly. And going back to Kiki.K, they showed how important it is to learn from, when things go wrong.
Yeah, they were resilient.
Yeah, they had problems, but they were able to adjust, make changes, and eventually
Keep going.
keep going. Yeah.
It's inspiring. It shows that even when things don't go the way you thought they would,
Right.
you can still learn and grow from it.
Absolutely. Every challenge is a chance to look at things again. Make some tweaks, come back even better.
It's a good lesson for anything, not just business, right?
Totally, I think so.
This has been a really interesting deep dive.
It has.
We talked about why planning matters, the
Mhm.
tools you can use,
Yeah.
like SWOT analysis, business plans,
Mm-hmm.
and how crucial it is to be flexible.
Yeah.
We also got to see some real-world examples, learn from other people's experiences.
And I think what's really cool is how these ideas apply to, well, everything.
Not just business.
Not just business, to life,
Right. We all make plans.
We do.
We all hit roadblocks.
Yeah.
And we all have to adapt, learn from those experiences.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you want our listener to take away from this?
I'd say use the power of planning,
Okay.
but don't be afraid to change the plan if you need to.
Be open to the unexpected.
Be open, be willing to adjust, And remember, every experience is a chance to grow.
That's a great takeaway. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into business planning.
Of course it was fun.
We hope you learned some valuable insights to apply to your own work, your own life.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and remember, knowledge is power.